So we've already made a video or two talking about this decor on the Detroit Red Wings, and it's interesting because things actually have gotten moved around since the last time we had spoken about this team, which was like yesterday or 2 days ago, something like that. But dailyfaceoff.com is always updating their stuff. Here we go. Last updated on July 26, 2025. With their source being the 2025 offseason. If I click on that, what does that do? No, it doesn't do anything. I'm just clicking on it repeatedly. I don't know. But this is the new look at Detroit Red Wings D pairings based off of the dailyfaceoff.com chart. Ben Chiarot and Mo Seider first pair. Okay. Say what you want about the pairing itself. Let's just hope that Ben Chiarot's able to do a little bit better than he has in the past. Okay? Simon Edvinsson and Albert Johansson, top 4 pairing right here. Swedish brilliance. Another Swede on the third pair in Erik Gustafsson, and then you have Jacob Bernard-Docker over here on the right side third pair. This does not include other names like Justin Hall, for example. All in all, the Red Wings decor isn't necessarily the best. There are, I'd say, 3 standouts in Seider, Johansson, and Edvinsson. Not saying that Johansson is on the same level of a Seider. Seider is obviously the best guy there. But Edvinsson and Johansson inspire hope into the short-term and long-term future. The other guys, you can say, they have their skills, they have their quirks. Gustafsson particularly is good on the power play. Ben Chiarot particularly is good at making people's lives feel like torture. And then you have Justin Hall, who by all accounts is good at making his own team and his own team's fans feel tortured. But with all this in mind, the conversation has been opened up as to whom it is can step onto the Detroit Red Wings blue line and make a difference that wasn't on the team last year. We have discussed names like Axel Sandin-Pellikka. We have discussed names like Aaron Ekblad before he inevitably re-signed. And then the Erik Karlsson conversation has been popping up there too. But now we have 2 more names to dive into for the Detroit Red Wings. And they come to us via Detroit Hockey Now and Bob Duff's article 3 days ago. Take a look at this. The Red Wings are probably not done retooling the team's defense. Will Lagasson again be the 8th Detroit blue liner? This article will be linked in the description. It's a really good read by Bob Duff. Detroit Hockey Now always has some intriguing pieces to dive into, but this piece talks about the decor and the decor names that the Wings have had don the winged wheel the past season. Lagasson's over here. There's a conversation about him and his healthy scratching situation. There are thoughts on Lagasson filling in for Detroit next season. I thought he played extremely well in Grand Rapids and in a limited role up here, Yzerman said. He's a real good fit for us. He has shown an ability to come up and play here and has been outstanding for us on and off the ice, in the locker room, and in GR. Now, there are some other guys here that are discussed. Jacob Bernard-Docker, Gustafsson, Hall, Axel Sandin-Pellikka, some of the same guys that we have talked about before. Detroit Brass has always preferred to carry 8 blue liners on the NHL roster. If that is again the decision, it only makes sense that Lagasson will be that guy. There's nothing to be gained from having a prospect like William Wallinder or Antti Tuomisto, and certainly not Axel Sandin-Pellikka, sitting and watching. They need to be playing every night with the AHL Griffins. That's all assuming nothing changes within the club's defensive personnel. As colleague Kevin Allen had recently pointed out, there are a number of under-the-radar D-men who could be had on the NHL trade market. Like this. A tweet from NHL Rumour Report, Sportsnet report from July 15th, Nick Kiprio says regarding Ryan McDonagh, the Lightning traded McDonagh away once back in 2022. He may end up being on the move again. Seattle's Jamie Oleksiak is a big body who would add offensive upside while skating on the third pairing. The dream sequence would be the acquisition of reliable, steady veteran Ryan McDonagh from Tampa Bay. He'd be a calming presence and an ideal partner for Seider, and his first pass tends to border on the impeccable. It was Yzerman who made the original move to bring McDonagh to Tampa Bay. So, I wanted to talk about these two guys. Now, obviously, the article says at the bottom, these moves, they're not definitely in the works. Call it a feeling, a sense if you will, just a nagging sensation that the Wings aren't done yet when it comes to retooling that defense. But let's talk about these two, because Jamie Oleksiak, I don't necessarily know if he brings quote-unquote offensive upside should he be traded over to Detroit, but he does bring size. He's 6'7", 256, signed on till the end of 25-26, making $4.6 million a year. That's a lot of sixes over there. He also is 32 years old, an initial 14th overall draft pick by the Dallas Stars a decade plus ago. This previous season, Jamie Oleksiak had scored 17 points in 82 games played, 4 goals and 13 assists. Look, man, I had Jamie Oleksiak and Adam Larsson on my fantasy team for the 23-24 campaign. These guys were some of the best players in the league because of how many gosh darn blocks and hits they would get. Jamie Oleksiak is a defensive force who has, of course, a very legendary swimmer. Penny Oleksiak is Jamie's sister there. Jamie, though, a lot taller than his sister and a lot heavier, too, I would assume. This guy's a monster. He's a total beast on the back end, and if the Red Wings were to acquire Jamie Oleksiak, he could be a very calming presence on that third pair that just provides some very solid defensively sound hockey. He blocks shots, he's really physical, he's intimidating, and I guess he can score maybe 15 to 20 points a year if everything goes right. Oleksiak is certainly a player that I think the Red Wings should be targeting from a Seattle team that has been looking to sell off some of their assets already. Okay, we don't necessarily know that. They haven't declared themselves a seller, but considering the direction and considering some of the other names that have been linked around to other teams from Seattle, I think it's fair to make the argument that a Jamie Oleksiak trade isn't impossible. Now, if we go over to the other name, Ryan McDonagh, oh boy, now you're talking about some really big fish. And even though McDonagh is 5 inches shorter than Jamie Oleksiak, I'd say that he is a bigger fish there. McDonagh's 36 years old, he's a lot older, but his contract goes on till 2026, making $6.75 million. He's got 1 year left on the deal, and of course, we all recognize the defensive prowess and offensive ability that Ryan McDonagh has. 30-point guy the past few seasons. He has been very, very good in the National Hockey League. I mean, just his body of work from 2011 all the way until now, he has been a stud. There is no denying what Ryan McDonagh has been capable of accomplishing in the NHL. 2-time Stanley Cup champion, 1,000 regular season games, almost 200 playoff games. This guy has been a monster as well. And if Stevie Y wants to reunite with a guy that he once took onto his team all those years ago, I'd say be my guest, Stevie Y. It's just, are the Lightning interested in trading away McDonagh? That's a team that definitely doesn't want to make any moves that make them worse at this stage, but is the cap hit big enough where you could start to wonder if that's actually a possibility here? We know that the Lightning traded away McDonagh once already, but would they be interested in doing it again? I really like both of these additions, honestly. If you were to get both of them, I think that really does help the Detroit Red Wings decor. Like, I'm sorry, Bernard Docker. I'm sorry, Justin Hall. Hell, I'm even sorry, Eric Gustafsson. But I do think that some of these guys would be more reliable in an 82-game NHL sample than the guys that the Wings have already. So, what gives? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about some of these ideas that have been talked out there by Bob Duff on Detroit Hockey Now. What are your thoughts on Jamie Oleksiak? What are your thoughts on Ryan McDonagh? Do these guys make the Wings a better team, and would you make the trade for them, assuming the price is reasonable? What even is that price in your opinion? Lightning fans, Kraken fans, feel free to pitch in as well with your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.